It's not hard work for me to write a song, or I'd never have started writing them. It's still my hobby, you know.
You have to write a song, don't you, sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, that's why we accumulated so many in the beginning, because we were writing them and there was nowhere to put them. You know, we didn't have a record contract, we just sort of piled them up.
What percentage of the songs you've written have actually been recorded? Would you say?
Almost all, you know.
You don't have a lot of material lying around that's never been done?
There's about 20 songs we wrote at the very beginning that we now and then take little bits from, because they're very corny, you know. Your first 20 songs are pretty, you know, well, ours were, you know, too influenced, you know. Every one of them was Buddy Holly, hey, all that. So we take odd bits and put them in new songs if the bit's worth it. But all the songs we've written since we sort of made it, really, have been recorded.
George Harrison talks about the reason for the most successful music of this generation.
Been very lucky in as much as having Paul and John in the group and writing the songs, you know.
And now George Harrison is a songwriter of note.
Well, I've been trying for years. It's just that I'm so lazy, you know, when it comes to writing songs. And I have a bit of trouble with lyrics. I wish I could write better lyrics.
How do you go about writing a song? Everybody has a formula. Do you have a formula, or does it just happen to come to you?
No, sometimes if I'm just sitting around at home playing the guitar, I just, you know, if I just feel like writing a song, then I'll just bash away, you know, and I hope for the best. Sometimes something just comes out. Usually I can write a song, but then I've got no lyrics to it at all. And with the song from Help that I wrote, well, I mean, I wrote the tune in about 20 minutes, but it took me about 3 or 4 days churning out the lyrics, you know. That's the trouble.
The lyric is the tough part for you.
For me, yeah, you know, but I don't know, the more songs I write, I may improve, you know, and realize the way you do it. I'm hoping that's what will happen, because I enjoy writing them.
The so-called social protest song is one direction in which Beatle music hasn't gone so far. I asked Ringo about songs like Eve of Destruction.
I don't particularly like Eve of Destruction. I like Dylan's songs, and Joan Baez and people like that, but we're not talking about singers, we're talking about protest songs. Some of them I don't mind, you know.
Why do you think they were written?
Well, I think it's because of the age we're in now, that young people like ourselves are fed up, you know, and we've got this sort of war threat hanging on our heads all the time. And, it can get you down if you start thinking about it, and writers like Dylan are thinking about it all the time. And he writes about it, you know, he can express himself, and he's expressing himself for a lot of other young people, you know. That's why I like most of them.
You think that they are sincere, really, and they're not just a way of capitalizing on the feeling?
I mean, I don't know any other protest writers besides Dylan, really, but I think he's sincere, you know, because we've met him and spoke to him, and we sort of, you know, had long talks and that, you know, and we all just hate this threat of war on our heads all the time, you know, which, you know, it's on everybody's head, you know, but they're just lucky enough to be able to write songs about it and express the feelings that most of us feel.
Yes, despite their highly publicized sense of humor, the Beatles are, as well, concerned with our society and its problems. But those serious moments were few. Mostly our conversations were liberally sprinkled with the wonderful wit of John, Paul, George, and Ringo. For example, I apologized to Paul for beating him at a game of pool.
No, it's all right, Jerry. I wasn't really trying. I thought I'd give a beginner like you a chance, you know.
I was going to give you a chance to give an excuse, but...
Yeah, well, I'm not a poor loser, you know. It's just I had greasy hands that day and I wasn't on form. I was feeling that... Well,
Sure.
I probably would have normally beat you. I mean, I'm not a bad loser, you know.
No.
I don't mind losing. It's just that I hate your guts now.
I know, the way you kicked me in the leg and everything.
Was it? I'm a pretty good loser, though.
When I walked out to the pool yesterday, the first thing you said to me was not hello, but how's Herbie, and you knocked me out. Tell the world how you knew about Herbie, my poodle.
I found I was reading through one of the magazines, and it just had a little bit about disc jockeys, and you were this week's subject. And it said, I forget all the rest of it, but I just thought, well, I'll remember one bit and just tell him that, and he'll be greatly surprised how I knew it.
I fell in the pool and I had my clothes on.
So I remembered Herbie anyway.
Speaking of poodles, I remembered that Ringo owned one too.
Yes, I've got a poodle.
I've got it. What's my poodle's name?
Herbie.
Does he remember?
Herbie, mine's name's Tiger.
They're two boys
Mine's a girl.
named Tiger.
Yes, well, when we first got it, it was so small you couldn't tell, you know. It was just like a bundle of fluff, so... Because is yours a big poodle?
It's a miniature.
Oh, mine's
Herbie's
a miniature, too.
Right. Miniature.
Miniature, yes.
How old is Tiger?
About 11 months.
Herbie's about 1.5 years. Hey, we might...
We might, or they might.
Well, you give my regards to Tiger, and I'll give yours to Herbie.
Herbie,
Would you
okay.
like to say a few words to Herbie?
Hello, Herbie. Tiger's thinking of you, Herbie. I'm not thinking of you. I hate you, you stupid little dog. Only kidding, Herbie.
After that, Paul told me about his childhood pets.
No, I had a couple of mice when I was a kid.
No, you're kidding.
I'm not kidding. I had white mice, yeah, a couple of white mice. Didn't like them all that much, though. And one day, it was terrible. Put me off pets for a long time, because, you got to look after them. And I sort of got a bit lazy. And one day I left these out in the garden by mistake, in the little box they were in, sort of thing, with wire on the top of it. And I went off. And I sort of left them food and everything, and I went off for the day. And I got back and it had been dead sunny all day, and the two of them had sunstroke. Oh, it was terrible. 2 sunstroked little mice.
Paul McCartney, killer.
No, I didn't kill them. They were all right. I nursed them back.
Oh, they lived through it.
Yeah, then I drowned them.
This song is among the prettiest the Beatles have ever done. While Paul kibitzed in the background, George told us the title.
Yesterday, which is the one where Paul sings with violins, and it's very lovely. And
All of them playing the violins,
Oh, you're putting me on.
No, George on cello, John on viola and violin, and Ringo on lead violin.
You don't agree with that, do you?
yeah, that's right.
We wouldn't put you on, Jerry.
In spite of all the thousands of miles the Beatles have flown, George Harrison gives one the impression that he really doesn't love airplanes.
I do, actually. I love watching aeroplanes going over. It's just that bit being inside of it I don't like. I think jet planes are great, but it's just having to get on them that's the drag.
You'd rather be around it than driving under it,
Help
right?
me get my feet back on the ground.
The Beatles' second American tour was now history, and as they flew to London and I flew home, I looked back. John Lennon, Ringo Starr, Paul McCartney, and George Harrison were more than singers, songwriters, musicians, or entertainers. They were human beings, and we said our goodbyes.
Goodbye to the USA. It's been great, and we'll be back next year if you still want us, and we'll probably see you next year.
Ringo, before we go, this is goodbye for us, and I want to thank you for being so nice all through this tour. And it's been a pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Jerry. It's been a pleasure having you.
I enjoyed it.
Thanks a lot, Jerry.
See you next time.
Okay, Jerry. Bye, Jerry.
He called me Jerry.
Is that your name, Jerry?
No, Fred.
Fred.
Paul, I want to thank you for being so nice to us.
You'll have to come on the next one. It's just a good laugh, the tour, It's good. We've enjoyed having you with us.
George, I want to thank you. I know you have a farewell
Thank
statement.
you, Bernie.
Jerry.
Jerry.
I know you've got a farewell statement for everybody.
It's almost definite that we'll be back around the same time next year. And so, if you didn't see us this time, maybe you'll see us next time if you want to, and I hope you do. And all those who don't want to see us, never mind.